Okay, do we have any fixtures?
Okay.
Any fixtures to lay these on? V-block, anything you got? Something narrow. I don't, because or else it's gonna block the whole part. Remember I had those that micro V-block?
Yeah,
You have
those-
something like
those-
tiny,
those-
like small?
It's smaller than that.
That's a long V-block that'll block the whole shadow of this right here. Any small gauge block even.
Gauge?
Gauge block will work. It'll roll around a little bit, but for the demonstration it'll do its purpose.
Size here.
Just a small one.
Anyone that might.
And A.
Yeah, just
Yeah, as long as it's actually this one. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so today's gonna be a basic training just to get yourself familiarized with the different tools.
You can get closer.
I'm gonna show you how to program a part from start to finish, and then I'm gonna walk one of you through how to do the same thing that I just did. And then run mode is how an inspector would use it, and then statistics is how we get our report. So, main thing we're gonna focus on is programming. So I'll click on new. Here's where you choose your field of view. We have a wide field camera. It starts off with 100 millimeters or a 4-inch diameter, but you can change this to an 8x8. This is accurate to plus or minus 0.2. If you have smaller features like tiny radii or something like that, it might be hard for the wide field to pick it up. So that's when we use the high precision camera. Really small features, it's better at picking it up. So for this purpose, we're just going to use the wide field camera. Now, do you do most of your dimensions in metric or English?
English.
Most of them.
Most of them. So I'm going to default you actually. I'm going to default the machine to English. So settings, advanced settings. But you can always change it in case there is a metric part. So I'm going to go at 3 decimals, the default is. That way you don't have to change it as often. Okay, so now I go to program, new, wide field. Now, first thing we need to do is get our part like on a fixture. So obviously this is just it's a gauge block. It might roll around, but you know, it'll keep the part parallel to the stage as you see. Now I don't want something that was like too thick because then it's gonna, you know, block the whole entire shadow of it. So the first step is to get your part in focus. This is your focus indicator. Check this box. You're just gonna click on the center and then drag it down. Make it really small, and then just place the part there. You can zoom in and out with the wheel on the mouse. And if you're zoomed in, if you click the wheel, you can pan the screen. So next step is the Z control, and just click autofocus. Now that the part's in focus, now we can take some dimensions. So I guess the first dimension you're mostly going to get on your screws is a thread dimension. So in our virtual tools tab right here, or no, I'm sorry, in our apps tab right here, we have a thread tool. Now it has a directions and a play button on how to use that. So it's telling you to click 2 points along the edge or along the center, and then drag it up. And then which dimensions do we want? Major diameter, pitch diameter, minor diameter, pitch, thread angle. Now if this was a common thread, you can use a tolerance table. And we have metric and unified, coarse and fine. All these different threads here. You can also add to this tolerance table. So in case you have threads that you come across often that aren't built into this table, you can just click on new and add more threads in here and save it to the table.
So he's adding major, minor, and pitch.
Major, minor, pitch diameter, thread angle. You know, it has all these
You can
dimensions
add
in
that
it.
from basically from the spec.
Yeah, yeah. So you can save. We have a lot of common threads. You can save a lot more though. So, if you don't want to use the tolerance table, just want to get your data, just all you gotta do is click apply. So here's your actual dimensions right here. So now that we have, you know, it put a center line also through the part. So What's another dimension you guys want to get? Maybe let's say the angle,
Head diameter.
head diameter. Okay, so we have in our apps tab also we have a width tool. So again, so I can press the play button, show you how to use it. So I just draw a box. Draw a box here. It's gonna search for the maximum width over here. So now this might be skewed how I drew this. So it might be like on an angle. But what I can do here is now I can align it. So I just click the line. And I'm gonna.
You align it parallel to the head, basically.
I'm aligning it parallel to the yeah,
Okay.
to the whole body of it. So click a line, and then I'll click my pointer finger, and this lets me select any lines on here. So the bisector is a perfect line to reference this to and align it to. That way it's not getting skewed. So once I click apply, that gives me my maximum diameter. And now here, right here is where we enter our tolerances. So if it was supposed to be, let's say 390 plus or minus 5, lower limit's going to be negative because we're subtracting from the nominal.
So, okay, this you have to put tolerances.
If you want to pass or fail it, yeah.
No, is it a max and a min?
You can do a max and min, yeah.
Or
So
have to
if you leave,
calculate- you can calculate in the middle and have a
yeah,
max and
you
min.
can do either or. So if this was, so if you want to leave this at 0, we can do this at
Oh, you have the upper limit and lower limit there,
yes,
and you can leave the actual
leave that at
dimension
0. Yes,
0. Okay.
exactly. So we can change that to yeah, let's say like point 395 to 0.385. You can do that also. However your drawing calls out. You can name the dimension right here. So right now it's E width right now. You can name it though if you want
Head
to.
diameter.
Yeah, you can do like HD for head diameter or
Yeah, whatever. You can do.
you can do whatever
anything
you
want,
like.
yeah.
And then click OK. If you want to check an angle on here, do you do it inclusive or do you do it from like the bisector, or from the edge?
No, it's from the edge basically. You get
From this
that angle.
edge, right? Okay. So in this instance, we can put a line along the edge right here. So I'm just going to go to my Elements tab. This is our basic building blocks. And I'm just going to place a line. Actually, since I'm focused on the outside here, since I put the focus on the outside, you might get a little bit of a shadowing effect right here because it's looking at the top and the bottom of the diameter. So one way around that is we put a small line where we're focused, hit apply, and a small line down here where we're focused, and apply. And then I can connect these two together. So go to Virtual Tools, and that's usually only for the end of turn parts. You don't have to do it along these edges right here. So I'll click Connect Line, and I'm just going to connect these lines together. You can shrink this line down because obviously it's super long. You could just input a value of 0.4 or something, and that just cosmetic purposes, So now you have that line. And now if I go to my basics, I'll just do angle. Click on your long line right here, and then draw another line right here. Place that dimension, 43.78, and again, here's where you put your tolerances. So let's just say
So that gives you 43.
yeah, 43.78. So I just put 44 plus or minus 2 just for demonstration purposes. So we have the angle, we have the thread, head diameter, and now maybe you want like overall length. Now, where do you take this measurement from? Because obviously there's is it the maximum length?
From flat goes to the top of the head, max.
So the max, you want the maximum of the width of right
All
here.
the way to the top of the head, right?
Okay, so before we use the width tool, but since we have a long flat right here, we can just go to our Elements tab and just say the maximum point on this edge, since this is the edge that doesn't come in super flat. So
Yeah, none of this.
yeah, so in our Elements tab we have a maximum point tool. I'm just going to draw this right here,
And it picks up the maximum at the shadow, basically.
Yes, exactly. Now it's pointing in this direction. You can switch that point around. I don't want to get into that. It's just so if you wanted to actually like pull it down here and then just drag it up, you want to make sure that that arrow is pointing out for the maximum point. I mean, I couldn't put minimum point, but just put maximum. And again, I want to align this.
That's for only that. Okay, I got you.
Yep, and I want to align this again to the bisector. But now I want to go perpendicular because I want this box to be perfectly perpendicular to that. Once I hit apply, it's going to find that point. So now I have,
That point to the top of the head.
yes, so in our basics tab, we have line to line, point to point. So we're going to do a line to a point.
Line, okay.
Yep, so we're going to measure a line, which is
So
right
that
here.
line that you got there,
Yep.
the point at the end.
And then to this point right here at the end.
So what
Yeah.
was that tab again you hit first?
So the tab to get this point right here is in our elements tab.
Right.
And that's to find this point. I just outline the part pretty much, tell it what to look for.
Right.
And then the basics tab is where I get most of my basic dimensions.
Okay.
Angles, a line to a line, a point to a line.
Okay.
You know, it's most of your stuff is probably going to be done likely in basics tab. With the, you know, the exceptions of, you know, some of the width and the width tool and the thread tool. So again, I can double click on this. It brings me back to this.
Can you zoom on that headline, the red line? The red across the head. Not this one, not the line. Right. Now, the line, it's not over the end of the shadow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The red line that you see over here, it's not at the end of the shadow.
That's
So-
only to how where it's displayed.
But
I
that's
can
what's-
drag this up.
Oh, so but okay, that's
It's measuring
measured at
from-
this line.
it's
here. Okay. It's measuring from.
Oh, what do you mean? Which one? Which line? This line right here?
Yes, it was.
This is measuring the diameter.
Okay, right.
That's going from
Now,
the top
but-
to the bottom.
Right. When you measure the length, though, okay, okay, it measures. Okay, all right. That's I got it. Okay, I thought it was measuring to that line. You said point to line, and I thought it was measuring that line, but that's completely different.
It measures this line. I clicked on this line right here, and then this point right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if I
right,
select
okay.
this, if I select this also, it usually highlights. I mean, this is all highlighted. It usually highlights.
Yeah, I got it. Was, well, that line here basically has nothing to do with measuring this.
No.
Exactly.
No,
That's what-
that's
okay.
only displaying
Yeah.
the diameter.
That's what I want
Yep.
to make sure.
Yep, exactly. So then for this one, I can just, again, put,
Plus 0
570.
minus 30. Is that a tolerance you're looking for?
I'm just going to plug, random, I guess, just so you can see what it looks like if it's good or bad. Okay. All right. So now that we have our dimensions that we mostly need,
Thread.
thread
length,
right here, length,
Head diameter.
head diameter, and angle.
And the other thing we'll measure here will be
Body
the,
width.
the head height.
Head height.
The head
Okay.
height.
And now where do you measure the head height from?
The head height goes from exactly where the angle finishes, right at the bottom there, to the top of the head.
Okay. So in that case, we have an element in our elements tab. We have a point on line tool. And then right here, I'm just gonna click around where I need around. Like let's say, all right, it's around there, but I'm gonna click and drag. So I'm giving this thing a search area to search in. So it's gonna search from all the way up here to all the way down here. Now I need to align this guy with this line right here because it's gonna look where the straight line ends. So if I click on a line, click on my pointer finger and select this, just like aligning it before, and then I'm going to go one step further and say set distance from target at 0. That means it's not going to go above it or below it. It's going to be along this at 0. So click apply. So it found the line right there. Yeah, I like to usually for this one in particular tool, I usually like to uncheck this box and tell it what I want to look for. So and also normally going into the dark to a bright contrast change is actually better. Since there's no other if there's dirt or dust here, it might pick up on that. But coming from this direction, there's less of a likelihood of that happening. So yeah, dark to bright. So there you go.
Now you take that point, to
Yep.
the line on top.
Exactly. Perfect. You've been paying attention. That's good. So line to point. Click on this long line. Click on this point. And then there's your head height. And maybe this only has like an upper limit. Okay. So now that I have my dimensions, the next step is to register the pattern. Now, you don't want to include this fixture in particular because it's supposed to look for a shape to find. And if you position this on the fixture differently, like all the time, it's not going to be able to find that shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shrink this down, and the only thing that's really going to be super consistent is probably like around the head. So all it needs to do is find this shape now, and it'll know where to put all the other boxes. Like where it's snapping everything in, because it knows in relation to this where the other boxes are supposed to go. So click register. So now it's only going to look for this head height. Now you can use this same register pattern also for like different lengths of this same screw. Once I click OK and save settings. Now here, well, when we have our folder path set up, we would actually, have another option here to save it to your network right here. So all we got to do is come up with a naming pattern for yourself. So if you're going to name all your parts, the part number or the drawing number or however you want to do it, for this purpose, I'm just going to put training, click save. And now that's how you program a part. So now, if I want to inspect a bunch of these now I go to run mode. So in run mode, let's say, for example, I could put, my fixture on there.
You still need your fixture on everything, or you can just throw it on the glass there and you can pick it up?
It needs to be parallel to the stage.
It needs to be parallel to the stage.
Yeah.
Alright, so since that's a screw, and if it sits on the head, it's going to be on a little angle, so it's not going to pick it up.
It needs to be on a fixture. I did give the information to everybody in the last meeting, and I showed them these acrylic fixtures that a lot of fastener companies use.
You can cut a lot of, like,
You can just
plexiglass
have
and
you
make
can
it-
have an acrylic fixture and just cut a bunch of V's in it.
Yeah.
And just have them do that. That's what a few of my customers do. So you can be any orientation, and all you gotta do is just click measure. It's gonna find it, and there you go. All your dimensions are measured. Before you hit measure, you can enter a lot number if you want. You have a serial counter, and you also have a name field. Whether it's the name of the inspector, you don't have to use those fields.
That's it.
But
you
if
know
you
who
want to-
inspected. You can know who inspected it, just in case for whatever reason. Lot number, serial counter is what's
It's the number of parts that you measure.
automatically
Sequential. Yeah.
sequential. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever.
Yep, exactly. The name field. If you wanted to take a picture of something, you can zoom into whatever you want, and whatever you're zoomed in on right here, let's say right there. I can go to menu, save as, preview image, and it'll give you a picture of the part with the dimensions on it. And I know this is a feature that they wanted, for your database. So you just go to save as, preview image, and it's gonna save a part just like that. So now if I want to check out my reports and my data and all that, if I go to main menu and go to my statistics.
Can you go back 1 second? I have a question about the thread there. It doesn't give you the actual thread. It gives you the measure diameter on that particular thing.
I didn't check thread on that one. I can. It has a feature. You just check the box thread.
All right, so it would give me the threads per inch, and
Yeah.
because measure diameter, I would need the threads per inch.
Yep.
Right. So it's not
Yeah.
there. I didn't see it. So
There's a
we didn't
box.
program it for it.
When you program it, you just check another box that says thread. You can also do thread angle too.
You can do the angle also.
Yeah. So you can do pitch, which is the thread. Yeah. So you can do pitch, thread angle, major, minor, and pitch diameters. You can also do cumulative pitch deviation as well. Okay. So now we have. This is our statistics. You can filter it by date. You can filter it by last 500 pieces or 10 pieces, 20 pieces, whatever. Filter it by lot number if you enter lot numbers.
Well, if you're looking for a particular lot number.
Yeah, if you're looking for a particular lot number. So These are your most recent programs.
You date there too, right?
Yep, it has date right here. If you want to
Yeah.
filter by date, so you just click on the folder button. You can just double click on whatever part number you want to get the data for. Filter it right here, and then click extract. Once you click extract, you're gonna go all those dimensions or all the data. Part was only measured one time, but here's all your
It
dimensions.
will give you the count also how many times you did the same part.
Yes, per date, per lot number. Yes. So, it gives you your CP, CPK, sigma, max, and min values for all your dimensions right here.
You have nothing in there now because it's only one measurement, but
Yeah, obviously, there's no
right.
statistics that are involved
Nothing
right
in
now.
there. You give you the 6
Give you a-
sigma, they give you the 3 sigma, you give you okay.
Yeah. You also get a trend graph, so you can actually see over time if you're going to your upper or lower limit of tolerance. You got a histogram. Yep, you can save these images also. And then you have a raw data list. So the machine automatically saves it, and you can create a CSV file. So if you click Save Data List, it'll save a CSV file with just this in particular set of data. So if I click that, it's going to save as a CSV file right here. The other way of our reports that we can display or give you is we have a statistics report. If I click print, I'll show you what that looks like. Obviously, again, there's not going to be any statistics because there's only one piece measured. But you get a picture of the part. You can customize all these fields up here.
That's your inspection report.
Yeah. So this is a statistics report, which some people, don't have much use out of because it doesn't give you the actual data.
You got barcode in there.
This is the part number.
It generates
Or the
barcode.
part number, it generates the barcode for it. So, you can close that, and I can show you. We have statistics report with separate outputs. That gives you the statistics with the actual data from each piece. Also, if you don't need some of these statistics, you can uncheck them. If I don't need these statistics, I can uncheck them.
So it gives you a report on the actual how many the characteristic which one you need.
Yeah, and then
No.
click,
Okay.
and then click. You can click save or print, and it'll give you. Here's my dimensions, and here's my okay, no good ratio. I uncheck most of the tolerances, and then it gives you the actual dimension of part number 1, part number 2, part number. So you'll get a list that goes down 50 pieces. You'll have like a 50-part report.
1 to 50.
Yeah, or however many you want.
Right.
500, I guess. I don't know what the maximum is. It's a lot.
You go up to like 200 or whatever it is.
Yeah, so you can always do up to 200. So yeah, you'll have automatically done. And again, you can customize all these.
Like that, you have to do it 1 at a time or 10 at a time, as many they fit on the screen, right?
You can do up to 100 pieces at once if they fit,
Right.
but you don't have to put 100 pieces at once to get a report. I filtered it last 50 pieces measured, last 10 pieces measured. If you measured 5 pieces of a lot today, and then 10 more pieces of that same lot tomorrow, you can get all that data still saved in one spot. So it doesn't all have to be measured at the same exact time. So, do I get one too?
Maybe if you stay long enough.
He got a big one. He got a big one.
Okay. So yeah, it's not just how many pieces were measured in that one time. We're filtering it by date, by all of today's date, by last 500 pieces. So that's the data that you're filtering out. Now, if I go to advanced report settings, here's where I can change all those fields on the inspection report. So you can type in whatever you want in here, and you can add up to 30 fields on here.
That's characteristics per part.
Yeah, and then you can also set it as a default. That way you don't have to do it for every single piece. So if you have a certain format of a report that you want to, and have all these different fields, you can type in these fields, material, anything like that. You can add that in there. So you'll have all that stuff.
And you add the company logo in that report?
You can add the company logo
And
also.
you email it directly from there, or you have to save it in the folder and then email it?
I can email you instructions on how to upload a company logo
Okay.
to this. It has to be a certain resolution. I forget what exactly what it was. Obviously, it can be changed, formatted, and stuff like that. So, Yeah, I can email you instructions on how to import a logo to your reports too. But yeah, we can do that.
Can do.
The report you generate, you're probably better off saving it in a folder so then you can email it from your own address.
Okay.
Because we'll save it to a spot where you guys can then access it on your computer.
Yeah, so on the machine itself, if I can either print it right here, you can add a network printer or a local printer to it, and I'll email you those emails were those instructions were emailed. I can re-email them though, in case you're the person that needs to install that. But you can just save it for later. So if I click save, it's going to save this as a XPS file, or you can save it as a CSV file if you want. But XPS is usually compatible with whatever. So just save it like this. You can name the report if you want. So each in particular part has its own folder that it creates in your, like, I guess if you would create like a Keyence folder, each part will have its own folder. So I'll show you exactly. I saved a data list, I saved an image, and I saved a report. So you're gonna see what we have in there. And if you go to optional settings, import, export. So if I double click on this, you'll see this is the actual program. So actually no, that's the image right there. So this is an image, the TIFF file. This is raw data. It's encrypted data. So you're able to view that on our statistics viewer software, or you guys got that full offline programming software. You can view on either of these. Just how we have our statistics on the machine. Here's your CSV, your just data list. And then here is your XPS file right here. So each part is going to have their own folder. Now, if you wanted to, so I created a CSV file on a filtered portion of data. Now, if you wanted to automatically export a CSV file every single time you measure, we just go to measurement output, and it'll automatically save it as a CSV file. So it'll be like a running thing. So it's up to you if you want to have that automatically populate, or if you want to go back and do like batch reports and like batch data and stuff like that. It's totally up to you if you wanted to do it automatically, just saving every single time, or if you wanted to go to statistics and then just say like, all right, I just need a data list for these 50 pieces or 10 pieces. You can do it either one. All you gotta do is check this box. That's it. And you can format it also. You can uncheck whatever fields you don't need. You can go horizontal, vertical, so there is customization with that as well. So that is the machine in a nutshell. Just to give you single measurement, it's the same as programming, except it doesn't save it as a program. So if you need to check like one piece, but you don't need to check it ever again, or you don't want to save it, it's the same exact tools as in programming. So you just don't have a save. You can save a report, but you can't save it as a program. So not many people use that. If it's on a shop floor, but you guys don't machine your parts here. So automatic measurement, it's good for maybe like washers. You can check a handful of washers and toss them up there. It'll automatically find those dimensions. This feature is also in programming. So if you wanted a shortcut in programming, now it's not good for screws, I'll tell you that. It's good for like stamped pieces, flat pieces, or something like like a washer. If I go to, in our apps tab, we have automatic measurement right here. So I could shrink this box down, the field that it's looking at. Say I want widths, I want angles, whatever else. It's gonna like just look at here, and it's gonna give you a ton of dimensions on here. So that's why I say like for washers it's good, because we have like a diameters, and we can do the roundness and concentricity all at the same time. So, and that is that. I'm gonna walk somebody else through how to measure this one or this guy right here, who's gonna be mainly focusing on programming here.
Well, both of them.
Both of you? Okay, so which one of you guys want me to?
Actually, both if they can go.
Yeah. So whoever wants to go first.
I can definitely try first.
And I'll walk you through it.
So I can just use the same one we just did, right? I could stop this?
Yeah, you can stop it.